Rain streaked the windows, blurring the edges of a house Samuel hadn't seen in a decade. He paused at the gate, heart hammering against his chest, memories flooding like a river breaking its dam. 10 years ago, love and pride had torn him away, leaving behind the woman who had once been his world. Today he returned, not sure whether to expect closure, anger, or redemption. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening. The neighborhood was quiet, almost eerily so, except for the distant laughter of children and the occasional bark of a dog. Leaves clung to the wet pavement, trembling under the weight of the storm, as if the world itself sensed the storm in Samuel's chest. Every step he took toward the front door brought back flashes, their laughter, their fights, the promises that had been broken. Inside, the house seemed alive with memories, but untouched by his presence. Samuel hesitated at the threshold, seeing through the foggy glass a figure moving calmly in the kitchen. It was Haramara, his ex-wife. Time had etched lines into her face, but the fire in her eyes was unmistakable. She looked nothing like he remembered, yet everything he had ever loved about her radiated from her presence. He swallowed, unsure if he should call out, unsure if she even wanted to see him. The air was heavy with the scent of coffee and rain, an ordinary moment yet charged with decades of unspoken emotions. Amara's gaze caught his, and for a heartbeat, neither moved. The world seemed to pause, neighbors' voices from behind windows, the faint hum of a television in the next room, all fading into silence. His chest tightened. Could forgiveness really exist after all this time? Could love survive the scars of betrayal? Suddenly, a little boy ran past her legs, laughter ringing clear despite the storm. Samuel's eyes followed him, and for the first time his breath caught in shock. The boy had his smile, her eyes. But most of all, he radiated warmth, curiosity, and the kind of fearlessness that comes from being loved unconditionally. Amara knelt, gathering the boy in her arms, and the child looked up at Samuel, tilting his head in recognition. Or was it curiosity? It was a moment loaded with tension, impossible to predict. Samuel realized that in the years he had been absent, life had moved forward without him. He had lost 10 years of shared laughter, sleepless nights, and the small, mundane moments that make life sacred. Neighbors had begun to peer through windows, sensing the drama unfold. Whispered words floated in the air, blending with the patter of rain and the rustle of leaves. Samuel took a cautious step forward, each movement a negotiation between pride, longing, and fear. Amara's voice finally cut through, soft but firm. "You shouldn't be here," she said. Her tone was calm, but every syllable trembled with the weight of memories. Samuel swallowed again, realizing he had no answers, only questions and a need to reconcile with the life he had abandoned. "I had to see you." "I had to see him," Samuel admitted, nodding toward the boy. His voice cracked slightly, a rare vulnerability laid bare, oblivious to the tension but perceptive in his innocence. "Daddy?" asked tentatively, looking between them. Samuel froze. The boy wasn't his biologically, but in this moment, the universe seemed to demand that he claim the connection that had formed in love's quiet, unseen moments. Amara's eyes softened, and for the first time, a small smile broke through her guarded exterior. "He calls me Mommy," she said quietly. "He's my world." Samuel's heart ached with the bittersweet weight of what had been lost and what had been gained. He realized that some mistakes couldn't be erased, yet they could be acknowledged, honored, and used to guide future choices. The storm outside mirrored the storm within him, turbulent, cleansing, and ultimately revealing. In the end, Samuel stepped closer, not to reclaim what he had lost, but to honor it. He knelt beside the boy, letting a hand brush his hair, an unspoken gesture of respect, care, and the possibility of reconciliation. The neighbors, sensing the emotional release, murmured softly, a quiet chorus of empathy filling the rainy afternoon. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. As the rain eased and sunlight pierced through the clouds, Samuel looked at Amara, realizing that love could endure, evolve, and even thrive in unexpected forms. He walked away knowing that some shocks are not endings, but awakenings, and that sometimes the greatest surprises come wrapped in the quiet, unwavering strength of those we once let go,